Greetings, all viewers of a light mentoring program. This is Senezana PM. Today, I have come to respond to some of the questions by the viewers of the very same channel, as they are seeking to know on what is polygamy, monogamy, and polyandry. So the question is very simple. I can reply by saying that when we talk about monogamy, we are talking about being married by one man at a time. That is monogamy. But what is polygamy? Polygamy is the state where one man can marry many women. That is polygamy. But when it comes to polyandry, means a woman who is married by many men at the same time. That is polyandry. So the word andros, poly means many, and andry or andros or ania is a Greek term that means men. So in case of polyandry, all men who are affiliated on the same thing are called brothers, and the institution itself is called adelphic or fraternal polyandry. So that's what you can understand when it comes to that. So there are some other additional questions based on the subject of today. So they are asking that is polygamy a sin? My response is that no biblical reference scripture that says polygamy is a sin. We know a lot of people in the Bible who were polygamous, and yet we find it out that God used or spoke to them. So that is the reason we cannot say that is a sin. As much as we know that people who are engaging themselves into this kind of things, they do it with many reasons. So question 2, it says that can God hear a polygamous man or woman who are associated with such? The answer is yes. As at first I said that it is not a sin. It means that if it is not a sin, God can be able to speak to these people, because there is many things that contribute on making people end up being in a polygamous state of living, even or all those life sectors. People can be found there with many reasons. So question 3, it says that what makes people end up getting involved into such two, polyandry and polygamy? Sometimes when I'm responding this kind of questions, I might sound like I am supporting polygamy and polyandry. No, I am not supporting such, since I am a married man to one wife, according to the book of the book of Titus 1 verse 6. So the question, as I said, that it came to me saying that what makes people end up getting involved into such two, polyandry and polygamy. Number 1 is all about economic resources. It can contribute on such. Number 2 is all about reproduction. You find people being married, failing to get children, then they try to go outside and for the sake of finding children. And you find it out that when a man goes out, he impregnates some women or some woman. Even the woman herself can try to go outside and meet with another man, then she becomes pregnant. So you see, those are some of the things that can contribute on the very same kind of things. And one other thing is all about lust. You see, if you lust women, you can end up into that kind of condition. So one other question says, what about in polyandry? What makes people to affiliate themselves into what we call a polyandry? So it's all about sex ratio. or sex ration. It's all about sex ration. Number 2 is all about male mortality. You find that a woman is expressing such a male mortality. She can be able to shift from one man to another like that. And male absenteeism, you find that the man is working too far from a woman, then she decide maybe to cheat, because when you cheat as a woman while your husband is too far, you are practicing what we call polyandry, because immediately when you sleep with another man while you are married to another man, the body does not know, but actually speaking, when you do the same, you are practicing polyandry. It's just that people are less informative when it comes to that area. So number 3 is all about societal stratification. When we talk about societal stratification, we talk about societal arrangement. So you may find that sometimes it is being done by some certain arrangement. And when we go further, it's all about economic basis. Similar applies as an effect of a polygamy. So even here, it can also lend a hand into that. So one other thing is all about environmental resources. So it can make the very same kind of situation. So the question once again is that what are the effects of polygamy? So that is, it causes the mental health and family dynamics or jealousy, competitive and whatsoever. So these are the results of being found in a polygamous family. One other thing is all about child health. It affects children mostly. And one other thing is all about financial burden. You find that as a man, you are working not in such a good way, then you are maintaining maybe 3 to 4 women. It is very much hard. It can strain you as a person. Sometimes you can fail to purchase your own thing. Why? Because of that burden you have subjected yourself in is either conditional or unconditional. So even the loss of individual privacy, you cannot have a privacy when you are married to many men, to many women, because if you can share this one with this one, it can happen that she can share the very same kind of things with another. So it ends up breaking the barriers of privacy. So there are several types of polyandry. When we talk about the several types of polyandry, we talk about that there is what we call a fraternal polyandry. So when we talk about fraternal polyandry, is marrying brothers at the same time. So we call it fraternal. And there is a non-fraternal, where you marry men who are not related as a woman. And there is what we call associated, marrying men who are also married to multiple women. So we call it associated. And successional, marrying one husband and then another. So we call it successional. So polyandry is associated in such a way. So when it comes to the effects of polyandry, it's a mixed paternity within the clutches of individual families. So that's where you will find a lot of quarrels, a lot of squabbles, a lot of feuds or family feuds. That is, it end up on that. So that's what I can say. So there is a problem caused by when you engage yourself into polygamous state of living. Be ready to experience the following consequences. Number 1 is what we call a somatization. Somatization. Number 2 is what we call interpersonal sensitivity. Number 3 is what we call obsessive compulsive. Number 4 is what we call depression. Number 5 is all about anxiety. And number 6 is phobic anxiety. Number 7 is what we call hostility. That is the reason you find that they do not love each other, hostility. And what we call a paranoid ideation. And even what we call a psychoticism. We call it a psychoticism. You see, so those are some of the things which you can experience when you enter into this kind of relationship. So one other last question is can a person associated with such would become a leader at the church? This is a very important question, but the answer is very simple. According to the qualification stipulated by Paul, for he said that a man for one wife, when you read on Titus 1 verse 6, and it's the very same kind of things it is already written on the book of Timothy. You can also find it there. If hopefully, I think it's First Timothy chapter 5, if I'm not mistaken, where you can get the qualification of being a leader at the church. So not because, so the reason being, not that you couldn't be a pastor or any leader, but the qualities of being a bishop or an elder makes the same person disqualified with a reason of consequences therein. Why? Because you will find it out that you are no longer leading people by example. You are coming from the family where you are married to many women, or many men. You find it out that there is no peace, you are quarreling. Not because you cannot be a pastor. The main issue here is all about becoming an exemplary before others. So in other words, you are not a very good example, not because God cannot choose you or use you. God can use you, can still, but the problem is what kind of a message are you carrying to the public? So that's where lies a problem. So that is the reason we finally say that you cannot become a very good leader, not because you cannot be having maybe some other coherent qualities of leadership. You might be having coherent qualities of leadership, but when it comes to your own personality, the way people read about you when you are far, they can easily observe what you have engaged yourself in, which makes you disqualified. Maybe you find it out that after church you go home and you find your wives fighting, you see, and now around the community it becomes something which is not good, but not because you cannot be a good leader. You can be a very good leader, you can have followers and do whatever, you can have influence with whatsoever way. But here Paul was trying to say that that is the reason, even if you can check in the Bible, you may find it out that God used David so powerfully. You see, most men were polygamous even in the Bible. But we are now drawing up a line, not because we are composing the very same line by ourselves, but we are finding it from the scripture, not because it's wrong. If you feel that you will be responsible enough to maintain all your women, all your men, that is not a problem. But we cannot use you for the sake of not trying to spread the very same kind of. Okay, remember, when you stand before people, you become an icon. You become a person of influence before others. So we do not want other people to copy the way you do things when it comes to your matrimonial issues. But that is the reason we need the one who practice monogamy, so that he or she becomes a very good example before others. But if you are not affiliated into such, yes, of course, we can use you at some ordinary things, but not related to things of leadership, because scripturally it makes us not worthy to use you as an individual. I hope and believe that you have been answered correctly.